$1.7 billion worth of Bitcoin was just moved from a dormant wallet on chain. So get ready for some sell pressure, and that's it. Back to Winnipeg. Bitcoin, crypto, morning tea. Hey. Good morning, everybody. My name's pianomattyb. That is Scaramucci's. This is your morning TA. A brief glimpse into the crypto market, where the sun's shining, where the wind's blowing. All the humble opinion of this piano Zamboni. Bring on the data. The FOMO index has inched down to 30 from yesterday's 31. Bitcoin dominance is 56.2%. 24-hour volume is 63 billion. The overall market cap, 2.14 trillion. Give or take 100 million. Well, we had what some legacy analysts would call a little pump, or maybe refer to as a breakout of sorts. Yesterday, after a tight little range to nowhere, price action flexed its green oompapa and started pumping first up to our bull flag breakout target of 60K, where we were rejected by the 20 moving average, but she persevered and fought through the headwinds, breaking out and over to test our channel of eternal monotony's resistance, picking out at 61.6, and has lost the battle down to a time of production, 60.8. Now, what I don't want to see is continued bearish pressure that takes us back down to retest this bull flag breakout level, which we'll now refer to as a channel of descension, in the loving arms of the 20 moving average and potentially the 50 moving average at 59.5. What I would like to see is a retest of this resistance level up at 61.7, and then maybe throw a desperation retail wick up to the 200 moving average at 63K. Alas, that $1.7 billion worth of Bitcoin that was moved on chain will act as a bearish sword of Damocles. As we push higher, it may be the exit liquidity that this whale will be looking for. So don't be surprised if we see an initial pump followed by a substantial dump. Not saying it would happen today, but you don't move that kind of gauge out of your wallet and then buy, so keep that in your back pocket. If the FOMO starts to pinch, real probably. Now, if we want to take the bullishly delusional stance on this move, we could look at it as a spoof job, where some whale is just moving the Bitcoin to disperse back into other wallets. We've seen it before. We'll likely see it again, but at the end of the day, we'll never really know. And in 6 months, we won't really care, no. Remember, it's just a big deal on a nothing day of the summer doldrums. But perhaps it's a reminder to get outside and give your papers a rest and enjoy the summer doldrums. Not hope it ends. Enjoy the weather and enjoy not really caring, because there'll be lots of time to care after the bull run, when we see the return of the bear. You know, like 12 months from now or so. Nothing crazy. Let's not get too crazy about it. It's still summer on it. And look at that. The sun's up. It's another beautiful day here on planet Earth, a day none of us are guaranteed. We're not guaranteed these days. Yeah, we're lucky enough to have anyway, so get out there and knock 'em dead. And remember, we're playing the same game as our psychopathic elected leads. And that's right, it's the long game. So zoom out and have a fantastic day. And we'll be going live right away, so grab yourself a coffee, join me for a quick one, and by all means, sing it with me now. On the banks of boom to spang, Bitcoin, crypto, morning day. Hey,
oh, inflation, it doesn't exist. Inflation, it's just a myth. But if it does exist, well, for sure we don't have anything to do with it.
Good dancers, those old fogies, those old psychopathic dinosaurs over at the Fed there. Good dancers, dancing in up a storm. CPI comes in slightly lower than expectations. Johnny December, member for 12 months. Look at that. You got the Superman OG on there. 12 months? That's how fast time goes by. We just lost 61. Congratulating Johnny December on the 12 months. Unbelievable. Thank you for supporting the channel for a solid year. Much appreciated. Just lost 61K. Now, I mean, I saw the price creep up before the announcement. You know, the fake news about the CPI. I don't care. And I was like, I don't like that. I don't like it when it creeps up before. I'd rather it creep down into the announcement. I just find it happens to go that way wherever it's heading before the announcement. It's kind of a fake out. And are we experiencing the fake out now? Well, we did get up to 61.7, which was one of our goals today. It actually went right to 61.7, hit its head, bonked its head, and just come down again to 60.9. It's hard to get over that 60K, you're right, Wick's wife. Well, Wick and Wick's wife have changed their names a couple times. And so I'm always like, what is that? Is that Wick's wife? Yes, Wick's wife, Fine 89. And then Wick. Where's Wick? I don't see Wick today. Hope everything's all right with Wick. Yeah, so the inflation comes out, the CPI don't care, the basket of lies that the government gaslights you into thinking whatever it wants you to think. So it's just a number that they can manipulate. Scotty Mo, at least we're in the Siggities. Yeah, that's true. We're just holding on to the Siggities. So my bearish outlook for today was 59.5, just to retest the channel of descension. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Yeah, keep your papers out of it. You never know if it will. We can't really hold this 60K, and because we're in the moving average reckoning, which we saw yesterday. Oh, this is the 4-hour chart. You can see here, right up to our goal there, 61.7. Our arbitrary line we just kind of put out there for no reason. Where's Michael Saylor? He hasn't shown up today. He's a little late. Not like him to be late. He's very punctual, that guy. Michael, it's not my stream, it's your volume. Because my stream is maxed. Good morning, Carl Alder. You can see, there's Michael Saylor. Michael, you're late. I thought maybe something happened to you. You're too busy buying digital real estate in Manhattan to maybe enjoying a cup of coffee. Wick's wife, 46 out of 100. Let's go. 100 likes, yeah. YouTube kills her at 600 and some change. And then Tombstone. Anyway, look at that. Isn't that amazing? Already up to that first goal. Now we are getting a pretty decent rejection from our first goal here. What I'd like to see is a pump in a desperation retail wick above the 200 moving average. Wick, can you do a good Musk? Well, when I was listening to Musk, I really, he almost has like a stutter that it makes it unlistenable for me, for Elon Musk. I get it. It's probably part of his low key autism that probably gives him that stutter. That's right. It's the Asperger's. Yeah. What was I talking about? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, getting a retail desperation wick up to the 200 moving. I gotta get some coffee after that one. She tired me out, that one. It sounds more like Jimmy Stewart. It sounds like, gosh, Charlie, Jimmy Stewart, Bruce May. Can we get up to this 200 moving average? Essentially, folks, once we're, if we can't get above the 200, we're really in still the bearish leg of a bullish uptrend, to be optimistic. But what we talked about yesterday with Mark Dutch, I typed Elon and Sailor behind a piano and Google sent me here. Well, no, Google will not. If you type anything, Google will send you to Kamala Harris, right? You could type anything and you'll just end up with a link to some Kamala Harris BS. So one might say this is kind of a bearish sign as both the 20 and the 50. This is the ding dong. Careen below the 200. But I do feel these are lagging indicators, obviously, right? So I'm low key Jimmy Stewart. I'll work on it. See, the stutter is where it begins, and then I have to figure out how it ends. I haven't really listened. I haven't had much motivation. I'm working on a Trump, because I feel like if you can't do a Trump, well, what are you doing? What are you doing in life if you can't do it, Trump? But I can't do it, Trump. I'm just working on it. So one day it might squeak out as I get enough confidence. Oh, I think I can do my Donald Trump now. But I'm still working on it. This is the confluence of moving averages reckoning, and we talked about this yesterday. That we hella consolidation here. Now we basically have the 20 running over bearish, the 200 and the 50. Now let's see, did it do that back then? Let's see here. Yeah, it did. Cross the 50 first and then cross the 20. So once we see that 20 moving average kind of get to the bottom of both of them, and then we start going up, and hey, once it starts going up like that, Shadow Chaser, smash the like button if you're sympathetic towards Elon Musk impersonation and training. Holy 60.7. We talked about this. This is that rejection. You can see on the ding dong here too. We can't seem to get above our channel of eternal monotony's resistance at 61.2. Look at that. Where we were last time we were over it was last Friday and Thursday, but before that, it was the week before. Yeah, we talked about this. Wick's wife. Are you, Dave, are you referring to me, Maddie? Or another, is there a Maddie that I missed? So since it was the most listened to X-based ever, I bet it would make for some great evergreen content in a video form of highlights from the speeches. Yeah, it would. I actually was going to do a AI version of it where I'd had them AI talking. And then I looked on X and someone beat me to the punch. There's a lot of them. That's a good idea. But you can see here, Wick City, 4 wicks above 61.2. Those are desperation wicks. Can we get over, please? Just let us get over it. Denied. That's 3. What is that? What is that called? Three soldier pattern. I guess if you're into TA, 3 green candles in a row. This is where TA kind of gets in the weeds for me. It says it's a bullish scenario. I disagree. I think when you have I got you, Dave Digital. You're on Siri. Siri's the worst in my car. Duke and I always, if we shake our heads, we'll ask Siri to do, hey, Siri, play Shabuzi on Apple Music. I'm sorry, we cannot do that for you right now. Why? You hear that? It's just listening to me now. That's never happened before. Siri just picked up my message on. See? Listening to me. How bizarre is that? Yeah, Siri works brutally in my car. But what a thing to complain about, eh? My car can't understand me giving it directions to play a song or any song that was ever written in the history of humanity. It won't do it. I'm mad. Sneaky Pete, it just started in your house. Unbelievable, eh? Well, that's why Siri is spying on us all, right? So if not listening to you, is listening to someone else. Oh, what did he say? Send them an ad. Send them an ad. Then they send me an ad, and what happens? I buy it. But I've learned a workaround about my buying addiction. I feel it's part of the propaganda. It's part of the brainwashing. So, I mean, everybody in this community is smarter than most. But as smart as we are, we're still susceptible to constant brainwashing. And eventually, they play the long game. They're like the person that knocks on the door. And you think they're going to go away? No. They're finally like, are these people going to go away? No. And then you're finally like, for Christ's sake. And you go up and answer the door, right? That's what these constant bombardment of ads. And if they don't get you in one platform, it appears up in another one. It's like, I remember that. That's the shoes I looked at. Anyway, I put it in the checkout thing, and I wait for a discount code. But discount link. Oh, discount email. They'll send me like 15%. And at that point, it gets a little more juicy for me. And I started thinking, well, maybe I should buy it. You know, we talked about these expensive shoes I'm not going to buy. That's silly. Oh, 3 marching soldiers are candles more the same size, not exactly. Maybe the first one a bit short. Well, regardless of how bullish those candles are, that whistle was about as bullish as it can be, Sneaky Pete. I got some things here. Bear with me on this one.
And I talk to my conservative friends right here. They always tell me that the problem is high taxes, but they're wrong. High taxes are extremely high here in the United States, but that's not the real problem. The real problem is not the high taxes themselves, but the fact that they are not even really funding the government. So who's financing the government? Government is financed by treasury bonds, paper. And who buys the treasury bonds? Mostly the Fed. And how does the Fed buy them? By printing money. But what backing does the Fed have for that money being printed? The treasury bonds themselves. The government is funded by money printing, paper backed with paper, a bubble that will inevitably burst. The situation is even worse than it seems, because if most Americans and the rest of the world were to become aware of this farce, confidence in your currency would be lost. The dollar will fall, and the Western civilization with it. If the next president of the United States doesn't make the necessary policies and structural changes, sooner or later that bubble will burst. There's still time. You don't have to make the same mistakes we did in the 60s and the 70s. You can still jump before the water boils.
Yes, you can. However, I agree with the majority of what he says. His optimism is on our side, obviously, right? We subscribe to the concept that paying taxes isn't a good thing, obviously, right? But the reason why it'll never change as long as these dinosaurs are in power is that it's their system. It's all their money. Their whole life would crumble if they changed it. That's why I have no optimism in the illusion of democracy. I don't think it'll ever change because they will never change how they're funded. Sneaky Pete vaporizers. The worst part is what they use our tax dollars for. Yeah, that's why. I mean, one of the best things you can ever do is start yourself a little business where you can use as much of it at a loss to not give it to you know who, right? I know it's hard for most if let's say you are an employee and you're already taxed right off the bat, like I was. This was I've told the story before, Tucker. Bear with me. I'll make it quick. My first job, I was a courtesy bagger at Safeway, which is like, I don't know, Whole Foods or whatever up in Canada. And I was bagging my groceries in the brown paper bags. Remember the brown paper bags? For, 2 weeks. And I got my paycheck and I opened it up and I was with my mom. I was 16 years old. And I was like, $40. I thought I worked more than that. And I started looking at it and I saw the income tax. I'm like, what is this? And my mom was like, oh, it's income tax. You automatically get taxed. No one told me about this. It's like, yeah. No one does tell you about it. I don't like this. Oh, well, there's nothing you can do, right? And that's not true. There are things you can do. You got to be careful, especially in the States, because the IRS is like, I Am Legend zombies banging up against the window for your tax money. Bang. But start a business, start a side hustle, and start, using the money that you would normally have to give to that dirty old blood money fiat regime called the government, and use it to offset some of the costs that occurred with your business. Not financial advice. That's some of the things I do. Yeah, I saw there was a Wick's wife. It says IRS zombies. Biden just hired 80,000 new IRS employees. The funny thing is that she, her copycat thing. We're gonna not tax any of the servers or tips or whatever. The copycat thing from Trump. It's both of it is like an insignificant thing in the big scheme of things. It's just pandering to that subset of people working, and like the people that have that job. I guess the only reason why it's dicey now is that when I was a bartender, my whole life was tips, right? And I didn't. I gotta be careful here what I say. But now it's highly more traceable because there's no one really tips with cash as much as they did back in, this old man's day. So now it's very easy to get traced. So for instance, I have a buddy who has a restaurant, and he says one of the weirdest parts about this post-COVID is that the servers have to come back, on Thursday and get their tips because during any given night, there's just not enough cash in the kitty to, pay them $200 in cash. All of them, right? Maybe one of them could get it. Yes, Pablo, there's a war on cash. For sure, there's been a war on cash forever. I remember when I was the weird guy saying, they're trying to get rid of cash. This was probably back in 2000 teens. They'll never get rid of cash. No, yeah, I think they will get rid of cash. And man, how many times I go out I've been a cash guy my whole life, right? But I still leave the house, I would say 80% of the time, with not one penny on me. Not one penny. Now, it gets even bizarre because I remember texting my buddy, Scotty J, he's the villain in Wrong Turn, the big, he played that actor who was the big mutant that killed everybody. We were in a band called Blackout City Kids, and I texted him. I said, because I went out for my nephew's birthday. This is okay, I'll just tie it in. Went for my nephew's birthday. It was the keg. I hate restaurants. They're way overpriced for how good they are. I only eat steak anywhere in my day. No one cooks a better steak than me. seconds. And then, so I went there. It was my nephew's birthday. Of course, I'm going to have a steak. I got the rib steak. It's $63, which is, you know, American, I guess it's 50 or something like that. $63. And it was mediocre at best. So the whole thing, you know, cost me about $250. And then I thought back to the days where I'd go to the bar with $200 to $400 cash in my pocket, prepared to spend it all. So I texted my buddy Scotty J. I'm like, remember when we'd go to the bar and spend $200 on booze and not even blink an eye? Now I can't go to the keg, have a steak, and it plagues me for the rest of the week. I think, man, I could have. So it cost me about $300 the whole birthday and steak dinner. I'm like, man, that is 10 juicy ribeyes I could have had, because I price everything in ribeyes and Bitcoin. That's it. So on a macro level, everything's priced in Bitcoin. On a micro level, everything's is priced in ribeyes. How many ribeyes am I willing to not buy to buy that? It's quite simple. Anyway, folks, the CPI don't lie, or CPI don't care, came in below. You would think it would boost the market a bit, but we saw that rejection. Now, are we seeing fear because of the whale moving its bag on chain? I don't know. We'll see. I don't think so. It could be a spoof. You never know. Anyway, the Max Power. There was a Max Power, I think, Sneaky Pete. They might have been in a different industry. I'm not sure. Probably wound up in the government.
Oh, inflation, it doesn't exist. Inflation, it's just a myth. But if it does exist, well, for sure we don't have anything to do with it. Make sure you like and subscribe.